Muscatine, and welcome to, as our guest mentioned a little bit ago, the greatest week ever, I think. We'll roll with that for the moment. Quick update, tonight, don't forget, we have girls volleyball at 6:30 out at MHS. It'll be their last home game of the season, so it is senior night, so we'll have all of that. And then Friday night, we have the Muskies here hosting Pleasant Valley at about 6:30. But that's enough of the fun stuff. Let's get to Power and Water's Power Week. No.
It is fun.
Yeah, no, it is actually. I will say this. I stopped out yesterday, and there's like a little celebration in the lobby. You guys had like tacos. Like it's like a whole thing.
It is. It's a great event. We've got the whole week to celebrate, and it's really time for us to step back and reflect a little bit on why we work so hard at what we do. And the great part is it's not only Public Power Week, but it's Customer Service Week as well. So both of those go hand in hand, and it's really a big part of again, why we work as hard as we do for the community.
So real quick, to make sure everybody knows who we've got here, Erika, Doug, if you guys could introduce yourselves real quick and just a little bit about what you do at Power and Water.
Sure. I'm Erika Cox. I'm the Director of Customer and Technology Experience, and I work with our ISP, the Communications Utility, Internet, TV, and Phone, Customer Services, Marketing, and Corporate IT. And my goal is to make sure that everybody has a great experience.
Yep.
And I'm Doug White. I'm the Director of Power Production and Supply at MPW. And the team that I work with is in charge of generating the energy that's the community needs, as well as looking at new assets in the future as we power the future.
Which we'll touch on here in a minute for sure. And so Public Power Week is like a national thing every week. And the one thing that I love about how we're able to celebrate this is you guys are truly a community function, right? You are a public utility. You cover so many of the things that are just naturally required infrastructure for the community, and not a lot of places have that. And so when I think about Public Power Week, I kind of think of it in a really weird, sort of cheesy way of like, it's all of us, because that's really what you guys are. So real quick, if you could, what are some of the things that you guys think are key to being like a community utility that kind of separates you from, some of those big ones that we've heard names of that we don't always love?
Right. Well, the real key is local control, and we get to do things that are in the best interest of the community. Not only just MPW, but the board of directors are also directing us to do those things to make sure we do things that empower Muscatine to succeed. And that's a really key piece for us, and it gives us that sense of ownership as we go to work every day and try to make sure that we fulfill those needs that the community needs. Because not only is it supplying the basic needs, kind of Maytag repairman stuff,
right,
but on the other side of it, we're looking at the future too and trying to figure out what we're going to need in the future, because we want to retain the people and the businesses that we have in Muscatine and grow that as well.
Well, and that's one thing, I've been lucky enough, as I've mentioned several times, to be kind of like adjacent to you guys as you do a lot of these big projects. And as you guys look so far, well, I shouldn't say so far into the future, but I mean, it's not like they're looking 300 years, but you know what I mean? You guys do such a great job of looking forward and trying to understand what things that are happening today will cause as far as changes, needs, and I mean, if you look back at the history, you guys have done a really good job of figuring out where we're going to need to be. And what's cool about that is it's all just functionally people from Muscatine. It's, I know probably half the staff, and it's not from working with you guys, it's just from knowing them from town.
Yeah, that also puts a little more skin in the game when you go out in the community and you're interacting with all the folks that you're trying to support as well, making sure you do a good job for everybody, and that's important to all the employees at MPW.
Yeah, because I'm gonna bet. I know a bunch of them. I'm gonna bet there isn't an employee at MPW that doesn't get calls on their personal cell phone on their off time going, hey, buddy I went to high school with, something's not working, what do I do, right? Like,
yeah.
But that's also what makes it great. You know what I mean? Like, if you feel comfortable enough doing that, you know that the organization you're working with is paying attention and taking care of you.
Right.
And I think to Doug's point, not only are we, community-owned utility, but, because we live here, our kids grew up together, or we went to the same school, or we go to the same church. The things that we do at the utility, we're out in the community. We want to be able to hold our heads high and not be, running from people or anything like that. So it really does impact the decisions that you make at the utility and how you run it.
Well, and what's nice about that is, and you've mentioned it a couple times, and I think clarifying it a little bit would be great, is, this public-owned utility concept, which means there's like no profits, there's no shareholders, there's not anybody that is in this to line their pocket, so to speak, which is tremendously different than most utilities.
Right. It is an awesome business plan. Our goal is to not make any money, but provide the best services that we can. And that helps clear a lot of things off the table when you're trying to make decisions, to where our leaders can make decisions, the board can make decisions in the best interest of the community and not the best interest of stakeholders.
Yeah, and that's it, again, it just takes one more competing variable out of the equation, which especially in a utility industry that is driven with so many dollars, so much required need. I mean, it's not like you can survive without electricity anymore. You can't survive without internet. So yeah, I was just saying, I'm gonna bet, I don't remember who I was talking to, but somebody will, their power will go out, and the call that customer service gets is, hey, the internet's not working, and they're like, hey, did you notice your power's out too? In a storm or something, but and something else like you mentioned is the local board, and I didn't know, did you guys want to take a second and kind of recognize them and what their roles are? Or?
Yeah, our board is obviously made up of local industry leaders. And I think we're very lucky to have people of that caliber making these high-level decisions. These are, as you pointed out, decisions that are looking into the future and trying to anticipate what's going to happen. And certainly the energy industry is in a time of change as we transition to greener sources of energy. But trying to maintain the reliability and cost effectiveness of the energy that we do have in the meantime is a tricky balancing act, especially as things change at the federal level, incentivizing some things and disincentivizing other things, and trying to figure out as that regulation changes, and it's changing on about a 6-month cycle, and trying to figure out what the long-term goal is. It's really nice to have a board of trustees, that are made up of people that live here, work here, have a vested interest in Muscatine, making those decisions because ultimately they're the best decisions for the whole community.
Well, and just as I look at this board, I know 3 of them really well. I see Keith at the Y in the mornings, Tracy McGinnis I've known for a long time, and her daughter plays volleyball that we'll be broadcasting tonight. Susan her son played baseball, so we saw them, you know what I mean? And that's just, and actually I think this is a really funny connection. When I moved back to Iowa after college, I worked out at Krieger's, and the 4th or 5th car I sold was actually to Aaron and Susan, way back. So kind of a funny thing that we both remembered when we were doing those interviews. And that is what makes it great. These are all people you're gonna see in the community leading the organization. So, speaking of generation, which is kind of your,
I may be a little biased, but
you may be. So,
right.
What all exists now in the power generation side, and then where are we headed next?
Right now, for generation that's running, we have units 7 and 8 that are operating as peaking units right now. As this transition happens, there's dispatchable generation is kind of at a shortage. So the value of, and dispatchable generation means generations that can react to the load. Load is constantly changing. Renewables don't change with the load at this point. Storage is probably going to be a long-term, or at least a part of the long-term solution, but it's still a ways out right now. So we're kind of at a shortage for capacity, and that's been indicated by the MISO market, or the price of capacity. So Unit 7 and 8 are staying around as a capacity asset. Unit 9 is still this anchor of all generation right now. And it's currently in outage, but that unit has enough energy to supply the whole community with all the energy needs that we need, and it can definitely chase the load. The other piece is that we are still burning coal with that unit, but it also is, coal is an energy source that's on site. And as we've seen in some of the latest winter storms, gas shortages can be a little bit of an issue on the natural gas side of things. So as we make this transition, there's going to be some bumps in the road, but this acts as a really great hedge, not only for having a generating asset to make sure that we're supplied with energy, but it's also a great hedge on the price of energy, because as it becomes harder and harder to get energy, the price goes up. It's a supply and demand, and we use that as a hedge to help control the price of energy in the community.
Well, and the one thing that I still am always amazed by when I stop and think about it is, it's the only industry that I can really think of, and you guys might be able to think of another one, but that you are producing the product literally as it is being used. Like, somebody plugs in an extra thing. This is really simplified. I know Jamie's going to give me something about this later, but you plug something in here, somebody over there essentially pushes a button and it goes up to cover it. It's way more automated. It's not that, but visualize somebody
That's
over
true.
there, like every time you add something or turn up the air or whatever, the system at MPW is doing something to match that. And, you know, not only that, you're part of this huge group, the MISO group,
Right.
which is basically like, again, really simplified version, like all the Midwest utilities sort of things that all pass power back and forth. You know, maybe somebody's light, so you guys produce a little more and ship it over. And I mean, it's absolutely amazing when you think about it. And for you guys, it's just like a normal day.
It seems like a normal day, but there's the utility has a couple hundred people that you don't see every day that are really taking care of business, that are on the outside of the public view. People at generation that are right now in outage, and making sure that we're doing repairs to get ready to make this thing ready for winter. Because right now the price should be low. We call these the shoulder months, and this is a good time to buy out of the market, because we can usually buy it a little cheaper than we can make it for. So we pick this time to do our outages, and then we'll come back up again. And as it gets colder, the price of energy will go up, and that is the great time to have the unit available as a hedge to the market.
Well, and this is something, I know we're going way down the production rabbit hole here, but one other thing that I again find really cool is the flexibility that you guys have built into the system here in Muscatine, that you guys, like, it really doesn't matter, you know, we could add another huge production plant, like another Han GPC, and you guys could handle it. You could, if things like, and not only that, again, fluctuations in the market, coal versus gas, or you guys have all the levers you need to pull to make it all work well, which it's, again, every time I listen to you guys talk, I'm sitting there going, okay, I got it. Right, got it. And then, like, I double check like a week later, like, I think I understood this. Is that about right? No, Chris. That's usually what Jamie says. No, Chris.
Close.
No,
It's
Chris.
close.
It's close. So, what? Going from here.
Oh, that's awesome.
What? Oh. So obviously, the production side, not all of us see, but the one that we all see is customer service. I mean, that's always been a hallmark of everything you guys do. Not just in person, but on the phone. The help desk is amazing. And that's like your little world,
that's
isn't
one
it?
of my areas. So, you kind of teed this up earlier with, what makes a community utility or a community company different. And, that's one of the big things. I like to say we're right down the street. Mm-hmm. So you have a problem, you have a question, we have an office, you can come in, we have staff in that office that are working every day. You can call us on the phone, and the folks that are on your screen right now, those are people that grew up in the area, so they know where you live. They probably know family member or friends of yours. And back to what Doug said, I think that's one of the things that really makes working at MPW fulfilling as an employee, that you get to serve people and you've got a lot of skin in the game. And those are real people that work at MPW. They're not paid actors. And Mitch and his team make us look really good when we make those commercials, and really appreciate people who step outside of their comfort zone to record those. But our how-to crew, I think, has been really helpful, and from the customer service and the help desk side of things. And I think we're really blessed to have the folks that we do.
Yeah, and the one thing I love, because again, I get to have like a unique relationship with the help desk. And so I get to see them doing these little extra things sometimes that people like. We had a little problem with our channel over the weekend, and I called the help desk, which this is way beyond their scope of anything. I'm like, but hey, could you look at channel 3 real quick and see if it, and they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. You know what I mean? So like, they're literally there to help. I mean, like, I can't imagine what other kind of calls they get sometimes, but you always know that, and if they can't fix it, they'll usually try and direct you to where you need to go to figure it out, which is great.
And the help desk works 365 days a year, so weekends, holidays, we know that things don't break always from 8 to 5, so that's a great service for our customers. We have a really easy phone number, 263-2631, option 2 for the help desk, and they're just so patient, and I can't count the number of comments that we get from customers of, I felt like it was a really stupid question, but they didn't make me feel stupid. And they're very patient, and they'll walk through it, and they've got the right tools to be able to help customers.
The one example I always think of is we were doing some landscaping out at my house, and my father-in-law may have hit the internet wire with the front of the bucket of a tractor. Mm-hmm. And I called over to the help desk, and there's a guy I'd known since like kindergarten. I'm like, hey, my internet's out. He's like, really? Okay. Pulls it up. I don't even see your ONT. Like, what's going on? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, could it be something to do with like the cut wire from the bulldozer? He's like, what? And I'm like, he's like, yeah, that might be the problem. Like, can you send somebody? And the next day out, splice it all back together, and life went on. But that's the kind of stuff that you get that you don't get everywhere, which it's pretty awesome.
So that transitions into local content. That doesn't really have anything to do with public power, but I think it does have a lot to do with being a publicly owned utility. And one of the things that's important to us, and I think makes the community better, is the amount of local content that we are able to share through our cable system. So between Civic 2, PCTV Channel 3, Musser Public Library Channel 5, and Public Access Channel 9, you can see sports, you can see graduation, you can see local parades. And those are just kind of extra nice to haves that not every community has. So again, we're blessed to have content creators like we do, and great community partners to put that content out there, and we're happy to be one venue for you to get the message out.
Well, and one thing that's really cool about that even is, you don't have to be sitting in front of your TV. You guys have got like is it TV Anywhere? Is that
Watch My TVs?
Watch
TV everywhere.
Yes.
Watch TV everywhere.
My TVs.
Yeah, My TV, where you can like hop on and like watch all the local channels, just like you do the streaming services and all that stuff, which is, again, for us is a really cool thing, because then we don't have to worry about it. You guys just handle it.
So one thing before we leave video, or the local content, we are in the period of the year where we're having our fall solar solstice sun outage. So October 5th through the 12th, because of the position of the sun. There may be some pixelating of the TV signal. It'll pass. We're just in that time of the year. Every spring, every fall.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Well, I guarantee you from here to out there, our signal will be good.
Perfect.
We don't need a satellite to send it out there.
Unless if you find a bulldozer somewhere.
You'd be amazed at things that I run into to mess things up with. And then you guys are always at community events without fail.
Yeah.
And like Almost Friday Fest is probably the perfect example of this. And Chris has got some great pictures from, this was the last one, right? From when you guys were down there doing the community powered stuff. How does that make you guys feel when you can go down to something like that and people like seeing you? Because I imagine most utilities probably wouldn't get that same sort of warm welcome.
Wouldn't necessarily come up to you, or if it did, they might
Yeah.
bend your ear about something. But these are great events, whether it's Almost Friday Fest, and Mitch and his team put together a photo booth tent to get some awareness out there that Public Power Week was coming up, and we've got a little something we're going to talk about here in a bit. But we do like being out, whether it's Almost Friday Fest, it's the parade, it's the community block party. We take the bucket truck out and give the kids ride. Being involved in the Sparks summer learning program and taking kind of STEM type activities into the classroom at a level that probably I can understand. You know that I'm not an engineer, I'm not technical, but we have some really cool activities that the kids get to do.
Awesome.
They like it.
The one I always love is when you guys do Customer Appreciation Day. First, so we do have a live studio audience here today off screen, just in case it looked like we were just talking to the moon. But a couple of cool things that you guys always come up with is like Mitch had this TV reporting station for kids, and they were like reporting on a Godzilla attack in Muscatine, and they were like getting things in their ear, and they're like they were recording it. And then they had like this huge dinosaur costume person, like the big inflatable thing, like bust out and try and scare the kids and get their reaction. And like Wyatt even loved it, just, you know, and he's even used to seeing this stuff, and he thought it was cool. And then the other one that he absolutely loved was, and it's so simple but so impactful, you guys had a water main that like the kids can fix. Like, so I'm probably gonna screw this up, but basically there's like a big water main that's got a crack in it of some sort, and they've got the sleeve sort of on it, so the kids can like slide the sleeve over the crack, because it's like spewing water everywhere, right?
Which is really nice on a hot day.
It is, and customer appreciation it normally is, but like they see like, oh yeah, this is gonna make a mess, but you gotta fix it, right? So you slide it over, and they use like an impact driver and put it down, and it seals it all up, and they fix it. And it's stuff like that that you guys are always coming up with that helps people really visualize what you do. Because it's, you know, there's been times like, I don't remember how many billions of gallons of water you guys pump through, and those are sometimes really abstract, hard things to understand, right? But like water spewing out of a pipe, we've all been there, and
Right.
like just on a way bigger.
And the people that do the work, they're the ones that come up with, they're like, this is what we do, here's how we can make it, so that other people can understand a little bit of what we do and what it takes to fix some things. So we have some really creative people that come up with some great ideas.
Yeah. So speaking of great ideas, it's always great to listen to your customers.
Right.
And you guys have dashboards upon dashboards of information of what people are telling you. And you've got a survey out now. So could you tell us a little bit about that? Well, actually,
Survey's coming.
It's coming.
It's
Yes,
coming.
right.
Yes, so we're going to tee it up here.
Yes.
It has been a few years since we've done a customer survey, and like you said, we do have a lot of dashboards for customers who do interact with us, who need, you know, are interacting with us to pay a bill, or they have a problem, and we get some feedback on those types of experiences. But a lot of people, they just set it and forget it, and they don't really have to think about us. Power works, internet works, water turns on, so they don't have to think about us often. But those are the folks that we want to target, all of our customers, to find out how are things going. And you know, the utility's on really a continuous improvement journey and pursuing excellence in all that we do. So getting that feedback from customers is going to help us identify, do we have any pain points out there? Is there anything we can try to improve to make the customer's experience better? So the survey will be going out probably toward the end of October.
I thought it was off.
He's keeping me on time. Thanks,
Right.
Deb. But it's going to go out by email, and it can be completed on your phone. It can be completed on your computer at home. And we'll send out an email in advance. And I know there's a lot of spam emails, and we get targeted a lot as a spam, trying to get spammed. So we'll send an email out in advance. We'll have a video from Gage Houston, who's our general manager, announcing the survey and, you know, why we're wanting customers to give us that feedback. And we really do use it, and we've got lots of strategies. One of our strategies is to give customers reason to love MPW, And, we chose that word love purposefully. We want customers to not just, be okay that we have a community utility, but they love that they have MPW as the community utility. So for improving processes, for innovating, any ideas that we can get from our customers, we want to take those and also hear, hopefully, things that we are doing well. We'll get some of that feedback
Free
as
power.
well.
Free electricity.
Right.
I'll pay for water, but electricity.
Electricity
nope, I'm out.
should be free, right?
Yeah. So
If we
that'll
could make it for free, we'd give it to you for free.
That's true.
yeah. That'll be coming out later in October and closing before Thanksgiving holiday.
So awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So
Wait, what? Okay, I saw the don't miss your chance to win. I didn't see what it was talking about.
Yeah.
This actually looks pretty cool.
So finding rocks is a thing.
It is.
It is a thing.
The whole Muscatine rocks. There's like a whole group on Facebook.
There is, and we came up with the idea to play along with that. And we have a crafty person in our area that took a bunch of rocks and painted them these bright colors and put the MPW logo on it. So what we're challenging folks in the community to do is when you're going on your walk, as you're out in the community, look for these bright colored rocks and take a selfie with the rock. There's lots of instructions. Tag MPW.
Yep.
And then use the hashtags community powered, because it's Public Power Week,
Right.
and MPW Rocks 2023. There's an MPW Rocks that is not us, so we need you to have the 2023.
Of course there is.
And I'm learning more about hashtags, but apparently that can give you like nationwide reach when
Yep.
you use those hashtags. So the community powered ties back to being the municipal utility, and MPW Rocks is kind of the 2023 is the fun way to remember the game. So if you post that selfie with the rock and those two things, you'll be put in a drawing for a $25 gift certificate that you can use towards your MPW bill, or you can gift it to somebody who may need help with their MPW bill. And we are accepting entries until this Saturday, October 7th. Thank you. And then we'll announce the winners next week. But if you do find the rock, please rehide it so that others can play as well.
Yeah, it's not a collect. There was, so, the 11-year-old several years ago was like a 6-year-old, and a couple of his friends and his cousin, they would find these and they would collect them. And we realized, like every once in a while you'd see like, oh, they had a rock, and it's like, oh, okay, fine. But after a while, we realized like they had piles of these things. It's like, okay, you got to go back out and hide them now. Like, you don't get to just like snag them. That's stealing. Yes. So again, just to kind of like pull this all back together, and this is something that I know we've been a part of for 4 or 5 years, is the concept of Public Power Week and Customer Service Week. It is kind of a nice week where you guys can kind of, like you said, Doug, take a step back and kind of look at, what, yeah, every day there's challenges. Every day there's something breaks, or nothing's perfect, right? But you guys can take a step back and go, okay, who are we? We're doing a great job overall. Are we getting everything we need for the community? And the community can be like, hey, yeah, you are, we're good. You know what I mean? And I think that's one thing that's been probably, of all the interesting things that I've gotten to be a part of over the last handful of years, watching how you guys work is definitely one of the top, because and I know the two in the peanut gallery will absolutely laugh when I say this, you guys operate so differently than what I do, right? Because like we're small, we flex, I mean, not that you guys don't flex, but like we're just like sometimes like farts in a skillet, so to speak, right? Like we just go where the immediate, but you guys have this ability to like steer this huge ship in a direction and know that that's where it's supposed to be going, and know that everybody that's riding behind is going to get there safely, or maybe with power and with water and with electricity. That it just, the amount of what's the word, moderation, like nothing is all good, nothing is all bad. You've got to pull a little bit from everything. And watching you guys do that is impressive. Like with the new plan for the Powering the Future, right? The 4 key components of that are basically function around flexibility to provide the other three.
Keep it reliable,
Right.
Reliable.
keep it affordable, flexible, is that,
Yep.
you know,
And sustainable.
And sustainable. Yeah, and that's, you know, it's just been fun to watch how you guys do it across those three completely separate industries that all kind of melt together into MPW.
Yeah, I like how we all work together too. You know, we're looking at this Muscatine Solar One project that is an electrical generation asset that's really being driven by generation. It's on the well field though. So the well field is very, you know, the water department is involved in this process as well. And then the T&D part, we have to connect this outside of generation. So we have really all facets of power and water involved with this project. You know, and we go back and forth with the communication utility as well. If they need some help, we give them a hand. If we need to pull some fiber for a project that we're doing, they'll come down and give us a hand. So it's not separate. We're all integrated as one large group, all with this common goal.
So I think we hit all of Holly's notes, didn't we? I
think
that
so.
was Holly. Did we do well, Holly?
I thought you did good.
You did awesome. No, but
again, there's Mitch and Holly making
yeah,
us look good.
Yeah, it's.
Plug the rocks again.
But plug the rocks. Yes, we can absolutely find the rocks now through the 7th. Saturday. Take a picture. MPW Rocks 2023, and then community powered for your hashtags, and tag MPW. Honestly, if you screw up the hashtags, if you at least tag MPW, they'll find it. Right, Mitch? Yeah, you'll find it. Yeah, you'll find it. But it's definitely a cool thing. It's always fun to watch and see what the marketing team comes up with, because it's surprised they haven't had like a voiceover competition yet, because you'd be surprised the voices that people at MPW can do. But thank you guys for coming in, as always. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
Yep. Thanks for having
of
us.
course. And Muscatine, don't forget, you've got your Muskie volleyball game tonight at 6:30. You've got football Friday night at 7:15ish, depending on when the sophomore game's over. And don't forget to go attack the rest of the day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. Have a good one.